Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. The 2022 first round of the NFL draft just finished up. Tonight, boys are doing a little late night stream. Again, I just wanted to thank you guys for all the support, all you guys who popped into the live stream. Had a ton of fun with you guys. And if you guys do like the content, you like talking NFL draft, you like talking college football, go subscribe to the channel. The support has been absolutely incredible, and we appreciate all of y'all. Dill, let's get into a quick recap of the picks, kind of give the winners, the losers of the night, starting with the first overall pick, Trayvon Walker. Dill, take it away.
It's not surprising because it's like we've all been hearing that the odds very much bared it out, and yeah, it happened. I mean, obviously, I disagree. I think it's crazy.
Yeah.
I think it's so insane to pass on Aiden Hutchinson at 1, especially to take a guy at the same position. But it seemed like you were going to do it. The Jags, they are what they are as a franchise. We'll see if it works out for them.
As a fan of Aiden Hutchinson, well, I'm happy he's in Detroit. I think that's a much better fit for him. Trayvon Walker at the end of the day was, 35-inch arms, 4'5", 140. Just, are you drafting a guy with the first overall pick who only had, 6.5 sacks, didn't really show much dominance rushing the passer, versus a guy like Aiden Hutchinson, who PFF graded out wildly good. On the film, he was incredible. Like, he's just a bona fide stud. The Detroit Lions get a steal. And how about Derek Stingley? Not to boost. I mean, boys get plenty of things wrong, but we were kind of right all along with this cat. He was our number one cornerback, a top 5 guy on our big board throughout the whole process. After he works out at his pro day, people start talking about that freshman film again. Goes number 3 overall, the Texans, which was a best player available pick. I mean, that was the third best guy they had on their board. That was kind of what they were going to do, and they go get him.
I mean, he's so good. I think people I remember at the time during his freshman year, I used to tell people that guy doesn't need to play another college snap. He should be the first overall pick in the draft he comes out in. And,
realistically, if he didn't play last 2 years, he probably would have been the first overall pick.
Yeah. If you just sat him and said, no, I'm healthy, but I'm not doing this.
Yeah, but he's a stud, and the Texans get a guy that has the ceiling of a Jalen Ramsey. I mean, the ceiling is bona fide, legit. I said bona fide.
I think he can be better than Jalen Ramsey because he makes the plays, he gets the interceptions, but he's far stickier. He doesn't give up as many big plays. Like Jalen Ramsey, for as great as he is, gives up plays, and he's been giving up plays his whole career.
Yeah. At 4, the Jets go Ahmad Sauce Gardner. I thought for sure if KT fell to 4 and the Texans passed on Kayvon Thibodeaux, that would be the pick for Robert Saleh. They end up getting Jermaine Johnson later in the first round, which was a dynamite steal pick.
It's like they knew that was going to happen because of how this draft they ended up doing it. They waited forever to get their edge rusher. They got a better guy they could have gotten at 10.
Yep, absolutely.
Anyone with a brain could have thought.
Yeah, and I mean, Sauce Gardner is a high ceiling cornerback. Like, I like him. I think he's a top 10 pick. He's a top 10 guy on our big board. But I do think Kayvon Thibodeaux would have been my pick. It did address the position need. The Giants, we'll just talk about in tandem. Evan Neal, I think, is an absolutely awesome pick for them. He played right tackle at Alabama. That's probably what he's going to play on the New York Giants. He's very good against the run, and he's a very good athlete for his size. Yes, do we like Charles Cross as their number 1 tackle? Sure. But then, I mean, the Panthers get Ikem Ekwonu, who I think just is a ceiling guy, like the power he has in his hands, his ability to run block. I think a lot of teams liked him. We've kind of been saying it throughout the process. Ikem, Evan Neal, Charles Cross are all legit franchise-level tackles, and they all go in the top 10 picks.
I think this draft worked out as well as it could have for the Giants to get Kayvon at 5 and then have their pick of the litter with the tackles with either one, Charles or
Evan Neal.
Evan, it just worked out so perfectly.
And I think it ended up
good for them.
I think it ended up going, and I think that's why they went Kayvon at 5, because they knew we can get either Ikem. We'll have the pick of 2 out of the 3 tackles. They're all great. They were working Charles Cross out at right tackle. Evan Neal's played right tackle. He's played it at a high level. That makes a lot of sense. Now, I like all these picks. Let's get to the pick I don't really like, Drake London to the Atlanta Falcons.
I'm with you. This was just a bad pick.
He just doesn't create separation. He relies on those contested catches. It's not really a recipe for success in the NFL. I think
they have Kyle Pitts. It's like the same. They're not the same player because Pitts is way better. I think a much better separator for as not being like an elite athlete at the time. I mean, he's an elite athlete for a tight end, but it's not a wide receiver athlete. he's open a lot, and obviously it's just bigger. Contested catches does. Just a better player, but I why not get a Garrett Wilson, like somebody who's brings something different to the table?
And
You
the
get the
thing is,
same exact guy.
you can tell there's a lot of teams that didn't have Drake London as their first wide receiver on the board
Yeah,
because they all traded up
they
for
all
them once they
started
fell out of the
moving.
top 10.
The Lions,
Charles
the
Cross, for
Saints.
one, is a good pick by the Seahawks. We'll just cover that. It's not an exciting pick. The Seattle Seahawks are going to have to kind of take their lumps and not have a great year, but you got your franchise left tackle. Charles Cross is stud. He's our number one offensive tackle.
That's a top 5 talent getting at 9. So
Garrett Wilson, I guess we'll go with, was a good, a solid pick. They need a wide receiver. Our wide receiver, my wide receiver 1, your wide receiver 2.
This I don't think is a great pick until we realize you can get Jermaine Johnson at whatever it was, 27 or whatever.
Yes.
I forget, but
yeah.
But like in hindsight, it's an incredible pick. At the time, I'd probably say go get your edge rusher because you got a guy falling. And then he just kept falling.
He just kept, and what you saw was just the wide receivers are getting paid. What AJ Brown got a 4-year, $100 million extension from the Eagles. Like Christian Kirk trying to set that market. Terry McLaurin, DK, they're all going to be asking for a lot of money. Go get a rookie wide receiver. He's not going to have to pay free agent money to, and that's kind of what the teams did. I love what the Saints did. Chris Olave is a guy we're extremely high on. Him, Mike Thomas, paired with Jameis Winston. We were really hoping they wouldn't take quarterback. They don't. We'll talk about the pick they took at 19.
In the moment, it's like a great pick for the Saints because they wouldn't have had really much to pick with if they stayed put.
Yep.
I mean, maybe they would have, but not a ton of choice.
Yeah. Jamison Williams at 12. I was a fan of getting like a Pickens or a Treylon Burks at 32 for them. That being said, they all were gone, and they go get a guy with legit game-breaking speed. And the benefit is Jamison Williams is obviously coming off the injury. Like, you don't need to be great next year. You know you're probably
still stink, and you get your quarterback.
You get your quarterback. Maybe Bryce Young reunite him. I'm sure that's in the back of their head. Is okay. We're probably going to be bad next year, but the only problem is they kind of traded some draft capital. But Jamison Williams is kind of worth it in my opinion. I didn't really love the Eagles trading up for Jordan Davis. I think they jumped the Ravens because I think they thought the Ravens would want him. Kyle Hamilton on the board. If I'm the Eagles,
there's so much talent because all those wideouts are going. It's like you could have sat at where you were and gotten a Jermaine Johnson, a Kyle Nakobe Dean, or the other linebacker.
Devin Lloyd. The boys, their brains are fried. It's been a long night for the fellas.
You were right about the linebackers. That was unbelievable how far those two fell. Well, that was just an aberration. I don't even know what to think about it. How is he going above those two stars? But whatever.
Yeah, Kenyon Green.
The Eagles apparently are smarter than the Georgia football defensive staff. Like Georgia didn't know who was the better linebacker. So yeah, whatever.
Yeah, the Houston Texans go Kenyon Green. We like Kenyon Green. We pushed him down the board, or I pushed him down my board because of the poor combine. But he was still a top 20. To start the process, he's a top.
I didn't love this for the Texans though. I feel like they could have gotten a better player.
Yep, Jahan Dotson goes 16. Jahan Dotson goes 16 to the Commanders after trading down. They kind of addressed that wide receiver, especially with whether Terry McLaurin is going to get signed back.
That's fair. I don't know where they could have gone. That was a hard pick.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Zion Johnson goes to the Chargers. I wonder if they're thinking about playing him at right tackle. He's played tackle at BC. We'll see. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
I don't think he's playing tackle.
He's a rock solid blue chip guy, though.
Yeah.
That's a blue chip guy.
Exactly.
The Titans,
I think it's a good pick.
The Titans trade up.
This worked out well.
AJ Brown to come up and get traded
really well.
I don't hate it. I think it worked out for them quite well.
They don't use AJ Brown to pay him the money that he commands as his talent, and you get a replacement, and you just keep it rolling on the ground and see what you can do.
Yeah, and you're not going to have to pay AJ Brown all that money. Exactly. This was the pick I did not like. I know that they were pressing for a tackle. I get it. You want a tackle. If you didn't get the trade up for those top 3, like Trevor Penning just has so much work to do on his game. At 19, there were some good guys on the board. Jermaine Johnson, George Karlaftis. I thought that's where they should have been going with this. I thought for sure it was going to be one of those two when they were picking 19. They ended up going Trevor Penning, a guy that we don't particularly like. We said it, a lot of holding penalties. He's a work in progress. Now, the big thing, the Steelers get to sit.
That was surprising. That was
And then
right.
they
I thought
don't
that
go
was very
Malik
surprising.
Willis after Mike Tomlin was a dog on a bone with this guy, the whole draft process, kind of
Yep.
following him around. They go with the hometown kid, Kenny Pickett. What are your thoughts on that?
I actually think I like it for them because he fits. I mean, that's an elite defense at the moment, and if that's really how they've been playing under Mike Tomlin for his whole tenure. So if that's what you want to do, you have a really good running back, and you keep building your O line up, and you just have a guy who's solid.
Who's not going to make mistakes?
Yeah, it's like he's basically a carbon copy of Trubisky in a sense.
And that'll be a competition, I would think, in camp. Like I don't think Trubisky's the guaranteed starter because Kenny Pickett, in terms of being NFL ready quarterback, he's that dude. Trent McDuffie to the Chiefs. This one hurt the boys bad. We were kind of banging the table for Brandon Beane and the Bills to trade up and go get Trent McDuffie. It's been a guy that we talked about the whole draft process as kind of a perfect fit for the Bills. Zone coverage. Trent McDuffie's probably the best zone coverage cornerback outside those top two guys. The Chiefs go up and get him. This was a good pick for them.
Us.
And then one of the more confusing picks is Quay Walker as the first linebacker taken. It's a low positional value. And they need help on the offensive side.
It's exactly what I say. It's like, yeah, I mean, in fairness, the wideouts had really gotten run off the board, so that probably hurt them. Yeah, I don't know where they could have gone. Like Jahan Dotson had gone, Burks had gone, all the guys you thought in that 20 range gone. So but still, it's like, what are you not taking Devin Lloyd and Nakobe Dean? It's like two guys who just looked far superior on film. Like, what is it? Because Nakobe Dean's a little shorter. It's like, well, he was the way better player in college, so I don't.
Yeah, what I think
it's
it
weird.
is, Quay Walker kind of has the better body, 240-pound, and he's the best tackler in the class, like graded out wise. He missed 7 tackles total in his.
He wasn't playing a ton of football.
Yeah, that's true. Like Channing Tindall was starting to get reps over him. Like I like Quay Walker, but I liked him more as a midday 2 pick.
I like Quay Walker, but it's like we're talking like Nakobe Dean's on the board, and Kirby Smart is as good a coach as anyone, I would think. And then his judgment was way
felt
different.
Like Channing Tindall was
just weird.
Good. Yeah, it wasn't, and also they need so much help at the wide receiver position. Like even if you have to go take Sky Moore, which they didn't even take at 28. The Bills get Kaiir Elam. I thought that was a great pick. Obviously, Andrew with the sliding, something's wrong. And I think people are concerned about the injuries. But Kaiir Elam, a physical, long DB who can go play the football. The Bills needed a DB. They ended up jumping the Cowboys and the Ravens to go make that happen.
You getting a little bit of a more athletic version of Levi is kind of how I see it.
Yeah, I don't
What's his last name again? Levi
Wallace. Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, you're getting a little upgrade with a better athlete is how I see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Tyler Smith to the Cowboys. Rock was pissed on the live stream. And I get it. He's a developmental guy. He needs a lot of work. He's 21 years old.
Devin Lloyd's on the board.
And Nakobe Dean, quite frankly. Yeah. But he's a guy that I actually don't hate the idea of taking him. He plays guard. I think he'll be a solid guard. He will be a solid guard at the next level. But then he's kind of getting groomed to take Tyron Smith's job when he gets old. Same reason why I mocked Trevor Penning there. But Tyler Smith, if you're going to take a project, I'd rather take Tyler Smith at 21 years old than Trevor Penning at 24. I don't hate to pick as much as people think. With Zion Johnson and Kenny Green off the board, you wanted to address the interior offensive line. Tyler Smith, that's an okay pick for me. I don't love it. But
I don't think it's a bad pick, but I think given that Devontae Wyatt's on the board, Jermaine's on the board, the 2 linebackers on, there's just some spots that they need some help in. And I just think getting bigger impact guys. I don't think he makes their offensive line infinitely better this year. It's it wasn't a bad unit. They just needed to replace the left guard. So.
And they could have done that with a Jamari Salyer in the second round.
And I just don't think you notice. But
yeah, but I think the idea is Tyler Smith can play tackle at some point.
At some point in his life, yeah, and that's probably true. Again, I actually like the player. I do think this is about where he belongs, but. I don't know, just based on how hard their wideouts have gotten run and how much good defense is on the board, it seemed like it could have been better.
The Ravens get the steal of the draft. We've been saying it all year. Tyler Linderbaum will be the steal of the draft wherever he goes. Baltimore Ravens get him at 25. He was getting mocked to the Ravens at 14. They end up getting him trading back at 25. the Ravens put together a solid draft. I like what they did. And then obviously the winner for me, the New York Jets, Jermaine Johnson at 26 was
That's
probably
just
my
worked
favorite
out
pick.
so well.
Favorite pick of
Like
the draft.
that's as well as anything could have worked out for a single team ever.
Oh, yeah.
It's just,
and you knew when they traded up to 26, you knew it was like Robert Saleh is not going to sit there and watch a guy like Jermaine Johnson fall outside the top 25. He's like,
it was that, or Jermaine Johnson was like being arrested at the moment, because like that's the only explanation it could have been, that he wasn't the pick at 26, and frankly the only reason he wasn't picked in the top 15
was a top 10 guy on our board. He was the 10th overall player. Devin Lloyd, I actually don't like this. Don't hate this. The Jaguars trade up to go get him. They needed linebacker. They got rid of Miles Jack. Devin Lloyd put together really, really good tape his last year. A lot of teams liked him, was getting mocked in the top 20 for a while. This was a solid pick. If the Jaguars didn't take Trayvon Walker as the first overall pick, I would have liked the draft a lot more. Devontae Wyatt, we talked about it. He's a good player. I don't hate to pick, but it's just giving the big middle finger to Aaron Rodgers. Your neck all good, bro?
Yeah, I'm
a little tight.
I'm
or hurt. The boys are hurt. It's been a long couple of weeks with the draft.
I've just been eating pizza all night. And
the NFL draft, like the actual
screaming
event,
at people.
The first round with all the talks, it gets to you. It's just it's long. It's a long battle. But Devontae Wyatt
need to shorten the time frame up between picks. But
yeah, well, like when the Jags get on the clock and they take the full 10 minutes, I'm like, buddy, you've been on the clock since.
How'd you not know?
Let's go. Cole Strange, most Bill Belichick pick we've ever seen.
Doesn't make any sense.
You like the player.
And I like the player in the third round.
In the round 3, you like him. I
love them. I actually think the player's like, I imagine him putting on like 10, 15 more pounds, because he was just like thin, but super athlete and looked strong.
Bill Belichick hates FBS players. He's like, well, no, we're not doing FBS. We're going FCS. We're going Division 2, Division 3 ball.
And again, there's like some good corners. Namely, that was
something's wrong with Andrew Booth. Something's wrong with Andrew Booth. George Karlaftis, I think, capped off a really good night for the Chiefs. They're probably my second. We'll recap the last 2 picks, and I'll get into my biggest winners. Daxton Hill to Michigan was a good pick. We've liked him. He's been a top.
Another guy. I felt like Booth could have been there. I mean, they have good safeties with Bates and Von Bell, but Daxton Hill's a playmaker, so he'll work.
And then Lewis Seen, a guy that we just hit the prop bet on.
Another weird one.
He was a riser, and it caps off 5 Georgia defensive players: in Quay Walker, Devontae Wyatt, Trayvon Walker, Jordan Davis, Lewis Seen. That's incredible. I mean, that's just – and the Corby didn't even go. I mean, the Georgia Bulldogs defense we saw was generational. To wrap up the show –
a lot of trades.
A lot of trades and a lot of small trades that we talked about. Like smaller, just to go jump up, get a guy that you like. What's your favorite pick and then favorite draft day for the team?
Oh, it's Jets and Giants are the two.
Yep, I agree.
Maybe followed by Chiefs and Baltimore. So
yeah.
I think those are the 4 teams I think really killed. Yep. Jets probably by far, but
yeah, that's probably my favorite pick. Jermaine Johnson at 26 is probably my favorite pick. My second favorite pick probably is Kyle Hamilton falling to 14 to the Ravens. He's a guy that he just lets your defense do so much. I mean, he can.
The Ravens just picked awesome players.
Yeah, they got 2. That's exactly right. They got 2 guys who had low positional value, who fell in the draft, and they went and picked them.
They're
awesome. They're going to be good players, and they're going to make their team immediately better week 1 of next season. Worst pick of the draft, Trevor Penning for me. Or Cole Strange, one of the 2. Like those, Cole Strange is a weird one. I just hate Trevor Penning as a prospect, which probably makes the Packers the Patriots my least favorite teams draft.
Yeah, I mean, they were just weird. I don't know that. I feel like the one thing I don't think was totally necessary was the Lions. I don't hate it, but although I don't know, in hindsight, with the way the wide receivers are picked, it's maybe not. I probably shouldn't have said that, because
and Hutch at 2.
If you could have gotten a good wideout at 32 or whatever they were,
Pickens.
Yeah, I wouldn't love that, but Pickens was the only guy on the board. It just like Burks didn't make it, Dotson didn't make it.
None of them even came close to making it. Like there wasn't even a wide receiver picked after the top 20.
They ran the hell out of the wideouts. It was weird, but
Dill, you look beat to crap right now. You look like you're hurting.
Well,
The boys battled. The boys battled for it. Again, they will wrap up the show on that because I think Dale's about to pass out. We appreciate all the support you guys have shown. The NFL draft was a blast. We've been having a blast breaking it down. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you do like the content, go check out the channel. Subscribe to the channel.
Back tomorrow night.
We'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow. We're gonna get a good night's sleep. We're gonna be ready to rock and roll tomorrow. We appreciate y'all watching. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.